What's up, guys? It's Bax. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about Caustic and what happened to him since the changes in the second split of Season 5. So in the first split we saw that Caustic started getting played a lot more because the community decided he was really good after the buff with the gas where your teammates aren't affected by his gas anymore. Now personally, I always thought Caustic was strong but also weak in the wrong hands. But he was strong in the right hands. And Caustic's biggest issue, in my opinion, is that people never in the past, his biggest issue was people didn't want to learn how to play around a Caustic, and the person playing him didn't really want to learn how to play Caustic. So what we saw basically happen was a change on a character that was a high skill ceiling, a change that was just a brain dead change where now your teammates can just run around in your gas unhindered speed-wise. They're still blinded, but this is a good Caustic team never had to worry about that. I learned how to throw my traps and my ultimates so that I would not blind and slow my own team, and that I would only hurt the enemy team and help my team make plays around my gas. So the fact that they changed this, I did not think it was a good change from the start. And then compounded lately with the removal of cocooning, totally fine with that. And I've been saying for months, like, hey, I totally get when they remove this. It's going to happen because it's unfair. It's not supposed to work that way. And I am glad that they got rid of like sliding traps and stuff like that. I'm totally happy with that. And I'm totally fine with them getting rid of cocooning. But what I always said was if they remove cocooning, they need to give Caustic, I never said a team thing. I said they need to give Caustic himself something of a buff to make it easier to survive in certain situations. Now, I don't know what that is. I haven't really thought about it in a while. That's not what I'm here to talk about. But the removal of cocooning and then the way that the traps now spin and fly through the air, that's just a visual thing, but I hate it. The biggest nerf that Caustic got now was that your traps get shot before they fully inflated in one shot anywhere on the trap. I don't agree with that change at all. I think it was a really unhealthy change for Caustic because you can't aggress anybody anymore. I do think it would have been totally fine if they said you can shoot the bottom of the trap at any time to deactivate it, because there's a little bit of skill required there of a player to aim at the bottom of the trap and take the shot instead of literally just aiming in the general direction of the barrel and spraying a few rounds. So you can use this to your advantage by making an enemy decide whether or not they want to shoot at you or if they want to shoot at the trap you've thrown at them. But you're also just throwing a trap, so I don't really recommend just running around throwing traps at people in the middle of a gunfight to hope that they stop beaming you. It's probably not going to happen, especially at higher levels and ranked especially. But personally, I haven't really been enjoying playing Caustic as much. And I've built this entire channel basically off of the fact that I was a Caustic main, and I won't say was. I still, will always be a Caustic main at heart. I do like playing. Anyone who comes by the stream knows that I love playing a ton of different legends, and I just have fun on all of them. For ranked, I still enjoy Caustic when I have a team of people to play around the fact that I am Caustic. But the fact that traps get shot out in one bullet and the way the meta shifted in general, it's definitely a lot harder to play Caustic. And I don't think it was done in a healthy way. It was done in a way that just made it easier for people to just make you useless as a character. And I understood the biggest argument people always had was that Caustic had no counter, and that's just untrue. He was a big, giant character, and you could easily shoot and kill him, and if he's aggressing your team, you need to catch him out in the open and kill him. That's when he's the most vulnerable, because he can't Q away like Wraith used to be able to. He can't grapple away like Pathfinder. He's not small. So the changes that were made were unhealthy in the fact that they just made a high skill ceiling character. First of all, he got buffed that made the skill ceiling drop, so more people, like not good Caustic players, started playing Caustic. And when that happened, you just saw this huge influx of Caustic players. And I always said, you don't want to see that. I said we don't want Caustics running around in every game on every team. That's not going to be fun. And even in my first few guides, I said that Caustic, when you fight against another Caustic, there was some skill level to that of knowing how to play around a Caustic, and I prided myself on my ability to beat other Caustics because I played him more and I understood the intricacies of playing as Caustic. So they kind of removed that. There was caustics everywhere. I totally understand why people got tired of a caustic being on every single team. I got tired of it. I'm a caustic main. I mean, I got tired of every team. You throw a gas, and guess what? Only 2 of them are going to be affected by it because one of them is a caustic. And now he's running around, and it's every single team. So it wasn't just like, oh, when you're in that situation, how do you play around it? It was literally every single team in the entire game was running a caustic for the most part in like high-ranked games. Maybe not, obviously not every single team, but it was a lot of people. And it was a lot of people who had just switched to caustic because he became meta, and they didn't even really know how to play him that well. They're just spamming traps, but they were still successful because of the changes that were made. So the changes, I would rather them have just said, hey, we reverted the change to the caustic gas and movement on his teammates. I would have rather them done that because a lot of people would have stopped playing him. And if a lot of people had stopped playing him, it would have felt healthier because there would have been less caustics in every game. So obviously as metas shift, that's what you're going to come across a lot in ranked. You're going to come across metas a lot more, especially the higher level you get. And the way that they change caustic has made me just lose a lot of my... I don't have that fun feeling with him anymore. Because other than an ultimate or sometimes using gas, I can't aggress people anymore. I talked about it in my first video. It was the ebb and flow of caustic. You're flowing around. You're going in and out of buildings fighting. And that's kind of gone in some ways now on the offensive. Because, yes, caustic is a defensive character. But if you just sat in a building not moving as caustic, you were not playing him correctly, in my opinion. You are not supposed to just sit in a building forever as caustic. You are supposed to play him and know how to be defensive when you needed to and how to be offensive when you needed to. And they've made playing offensively as him harder, and it's very clear that Respawn wants him to be seen as a more campy defensive character. So now you are forced even more so to just sit in a building because you can't really aggress people, and there is no cocooning. Again, totally fine with cocooning getting removed. But the fact that you can't just throw a trap to use as cover in the open anymore is ridiculous because someone just shoots the trap out. You're dead. In the open, you're just dead now because you can't even throw a trap at like an inch in front of you and then while it's inflating, crouch behind it and use it as cover. You can't do it because it's immediately gone in one bullet, and I just do not think it's a healthy change. And it's really, you know, a lot. I've gave it a lot of thought about what to say in this video about what changed as far as playing him. And if you're rolling with the team, you know, not much changed as far as when I was rolling with my team, as far as gameplay-wise. I just cannot be as aggressive anymore. So I've lost a lot of motivation to play only caustic, especially in ranked. I'm having a lot of fun with Lifeline. I do think that her res is a little bit too strong. That's a whole other topic. But I've been enjoying kind of branching out, playing other people. And it's mainly because they've just removed a lot of the skill ceiling with caustic. I would have rather the changes had increased his skill ceiling so that if you are really good at him, you can make plays. I wouldn't want him to just be this cheap, easy-to-play character that anyone could play and anyone could make moves on because they just run up throwing traps and gas everywhere. And then a lot of people who complained that he was overpowered and that he had no counter would literally sit in a corner crying as traps were thrown on them and wouldn't even move and just sit there accepting their fate. So that's not that's not an argument to say that he's overpowered. I've never understood the ideology that he is overpowered because he's so big. It's so easy to shoot a caustic. So you have to just play around it. If you don't have a caustic on your team and you know that there's a caustic on the enemy team, you have to play accordingly. And a lot of people were just mad because that people were playing caustic and they can't play the way they wanted to play, I guess. I don't really know. But as far as the changes to caustic, you definitely have to be a little bit more wary when you're being aggressive because your toolkit of what you can do is so much lower now when you're in the open. In buildings, it's kind of sort of the same. But again, if you're throwing traps and people have any line of sight on that trap at all, bop, they just shoot it out immediately. That grace period before of when the trap was invincible was amazing to me because you were able to use that time to your advantage to make the enemy think, and it was like mind games of, you know, oh, what this caustic through a trap, I have to play off that and move. Now, again, if they made the traps able to be shot out, but only if they shot the bottom, I would have no issue with that, because that's skill to fight me. That is a counter to fight me. And then if I throw traps correctly, like if there's a rock or something in front of me and I use that to my advantage, I'm a good Caustic. And I'm throwing traps well so that you can't just pop them immediately. But the fact that you can just shoot them anywhere has just made me not enjoy playing him as much, because I can't do fun, big brain, high IQ things anymore in ranked games against these top players, because the second I do anything, I'm either getting beamed by them or they're just shooting my traps. So I just don't enjoy the like flow of Caustic anymore, I guess, as much because of these changes. I do hope, again, if they reverted the shooting the trap change and then they reverted the teammates running around in gas change, I would be totally fine with that. I think that it would be a lot healthier if that was the case. But I hate the, as I said, I think I said it earlier, I hate the animation of the trap spinning. But yeah, this is more of just a rambling video, but I haven't really made any Caustic content recently, and I didn't want to forget my thick gang out there who are the diehard Caustic mains, and I want your guys' opinion on what you think about these changes. A lot of comments I've seen are just people who are like, I don't like this at all, and this isn't fun anymore. Or they don't like how traps just get shot in one bullet. And I agree. I think it was an unhealthy change to Caustic, and I guess he's a huge, like a high-picked legend now. That was just because of the meta swap, and everyone was just like, wow, Caustic's really good, and the community will influence things like that to happen, when in reality, he really didn't change all that much from, like, day one, other than the fortification and stuff. Not much has changed on him. So, if you know how to play well, you can counter Caustic. I mean, I would get killed constantly by people who just knew how to outplay me and my skill, or not my skill, my size, and they could kill me. So I never really understood the argument of Caustic is overpowered, because you just move away from his traps, or you don't push a building a Caustic is in. And if you do, you have to just know the risk that you're taking. So I'm definitely excited to play a little bit ranked once this season ends, and hopefully they quell the cheater problem that's in ranked, because that's probably one of the only things I like in Apex anymore, is playing ranked with my Pred squad, because it's just fun. I like playing Caustic. They play well off of me. We play well off of each other, and that's like the only time I enjoy playing Caustic. But Caustic in pubs is just a no-go for the most part. I do it every once in a while on stream just to not forget my roots, but it's so hard to grind Caustic now with all these changes. I don't like them at all. And, you know, cocooning was one of my favorite things to do, because it just, people who never saw it before, it was always fun hearing their reactions and seeing enemies getting confused, but now you can't really do any of that. You can still cocoon, obviously, it's just not as much, and not in the middle of a fight, of course, because someone will just shoot your trap one time and it goes away. So I don't really know how much I'll be playing Caustic in pub matches and stuff in the future, and I really do hope they revert some of these changes to give him a higher skill ceiling. I don't even care if it's stuff that's hard to pull off. I just want a high skill ceiling legend like he used to be, because the way he is now, definitely it feels more like they're just like, the devs want him to just be sitting in a room camping, and that's all they want. So hopefully he gets some tweaks that make him harder to play. I want Caustic to be harder to play. I do not want him to be this easy legend that everyone picks up and plays, and I want there to be a clear distinction between a good and a bad Caustic, making good and bad plays, and someone who's put in time and effort to learn and master how he is supposed to be played. I want there to be a clear distinction, like there is on some other legends. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you made it to the end, you know, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm surprised. I know this was super rambly, but I really do want to know what you guys think about the changes. Do you think they were healthy? Do you disagree with me? Am I wrong? Am I a sweat virgin that needs to stop crying? I mean, let me know. I'd love to know. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and you guys have a good day.